Hello, everyone, and welcome to Checkpoint, uh, Hyperion's recap show for the Hyperion Invitational Cup. I'm Oakley, and I am joined here in the booth with Juggle God and Xenon. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's been a great week. I have to get into it.
Awesome. So today we'll be taking a look back at week two, and we'll be taking some previews at the map pool and predictions for week three. So let's get this one started. Xenon, take it away with Kaiju Clover versus Danger Close.
So this match was we were really looking at last week as being like the one to watch, the battle for first place, basically. Um, a little worrying for Kaiju Corp on the first map, but after that, it seemed like they found a groove and were able to kind of get the best of Danger Close on these overtime pushes. You notice the score lines are all in overtime past the first map.
Absolutely. A little bit of clutch time coming in for Kaiju Core Clover. They put on a good show. They almost did the double full cap in overtime. They did cap in overtime completely on Route 66, got about halfway on Blizzard World, and then they were able to squeak out a point there on second in overtime on Anubis. Juggle, do you have any thoughts, opinions, highlights that you
No,
want to bring up?
this one I wasn't actually able to catch. But I expected Kaiju Corp to look really dominant in this. I cast a charity tournament that Kaiju Corp was a Kaiju Corp charity tournament actually through Will English, and so I'd seen Kaiju Corp Clover play before, and I knew that they were gonna come out looking strong. So yeah. Not too surprised by the scoreline. Really impressed with Danger Close coming up with a win on them. And I think that honestly, Danger Close coming up with one map on them shows that they're beatable in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
By, just about anybody in this tournament. So, I still expect them to win, but I don't think they're invincible.
Absolutely. They do show a lot of scary looks. They kind of got, as the scoreline kind of shows, like they kind of got rolled on the first map, and then they came out with their Ball Soldier Fire Mercy comp and put on a show and a half in overtime. And, they found a way to get the dub. So, Kaiju Core Clover, they will be playing Paradise Aegis next, and Danger Close, they will be taking on Frost Noah next. Our next game of the week also happened on Friday, which was a battle between Paradise Aegis and Lux Nova. We do have the main tank extraordinaire caster, worldwide phenomena, Juggle God, also known as the main tank of Lux Nova, here in the booth.
Yep.
So Juggle, take it away.
Sure, will do. This was a good matchup, I think. The score line is 3-0 for Paradise Aegis, but I think at least with the first two maps, Lux Nova, we were looking very competitive. In Busan, we had control of the last point going into the last fight, but the main tank, Juggle God, fed a little bit on the first engagement, so that set them back just a little bit on that first fight, or on that last fight of Busan. Wasn't able to quite clutch out the win there. Paradise Aegis did a great job taking advantage of my mistakes and the rest of the mistakes that our team made as well. So got to give props to them for clutching it out with a win there on Busan. Route 66, Lux Nova, we felt very good about our attack. We felt like we pushed very, very quickly into third, but that was when we kind of stalled out. And I think the main thing there is just that our rush comp is not up to par with a lot of the other rush comps in this tournament. I think our ball comp is really good. I think it can go toe to toe with a lot of different comps in this tournament and a lot of different teams. But our rush comp looking a little weak at the moment. So that's something we're going to be working on this next week in Paradise Aegis. I think on Route 66 really took advantage of that. And then moving into Blizzard World, Paradise Aegis really picked up the steam here, and I think they won that one fairly convincingly with the 3-1 scoreline. But having Ryuka Sim back in our lineup, just in general, made a tremendous difference for us. I think having our normal DPS in and also having him pop off big time during this game helped out a lot. His duel with Brick Wall on Blizzard World was fantastic every time. um, and it really, I didn't really think either player had a leg up on the other, so that was just fantastic to see. And then, well, yeah, one of the other things that threw us off on Lux Nova is we had planned all of our comps and matches based on Goob Dude being in the lineup. So then when Purple came in, we were thrown off. And Purple had some phenomenal Roadhog play, especially on Blizzard World. He was able to pick out a lot of Android 66. Yeah, he was able to pick off a lot of our players who were out of position at different times. So that's my rundown of that. Oh, the last thing I will mention is just Lux Nova. We are a very new team, so this is our very first tournament, and we just got our roster finalized like maybe a couple of weeks before the tournament. So, despite us going 0-2 so far, we're really happy with our performance. And I think the biggest thing for us is we showed a lot of improvement, I think, between week 1 and week 2. And we're looking to do the same thing going into week 3. But Paradise Aegis, you all played a great game. You came out with the 3-0, and really looking forward to seeing how you're going to perform in the rest of the tournament, because you looked really good against us, and I think you can go up against any of these teams here.
Absolutely. We'll give a shout out to Purple. He did step in on the main tank role, maybe it was IGLing. We don't really know. But he looked right in place on the Roadhog. This guy still giving me nightmares to this day. I don't play Tracer in Ranked anymore because of you. Maybe you'll just show up like the Kool-Aid Man on the flank when I'm flanking and kill me, and that won't be fun.
Yeah.
Paradise Aegis.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
They did look really strong. I will say that, going into maps 1 and maps 2, they did look very, very, very close, especially on Downtown, which was the last map on Busan.
Yeah.
It was a lot of back and forth and really, really scrappy play.
Yeah. And just bringing up the next matches that each team is going to be facing. Paradise Aegis going up against Kaiju Core. Again, like I said, I think I'm going to give the edge to Kaiju Core for that one. And but we're going to be talking about that in Preds.
Spoiler.
So I'm gonna shut my mouth now about the rest of things.
And Lux Nova, they'll be playing Tempest Typhoon next week. Xenon, do you have any thoughts, opinions on
Great game.
This map?
Nice to see the Purple People Eater in action.
On the Roadhog, this guy finding crazy value on the flank. Our last match. Oh,
hey, what's up, Stafftron in chat? That's one of our DPS players right there, DPS Phenom.
Yep, shout out to Stafftron, DPS duo with Ryukasim on Lux Nova. And moving on to our last match, which was played yesterday, we had Tempest Typhoon going up against Frost Nova in what possibly was the most back and forth series. I guess you could call it that. Reverse sweep, edge of your seat gameplay. We had Frost Nova barely edging it out with the 3-2 win over Tempest Typhoon. Frost Nova, they came out on Busan. They played their Bulldozer comp, which was the Ryan Winston Doomfist comp with the Ana Lucio Reaper. And they looked really dominant. They kind of struggled to get it going a little bit, but once they got it going on Busan Mecha Base, they were able to steamroll and take the 99 to 100 on that one. And then they played a lot of Sombra Reaper, Moira Lucio, Winston Diva throughout the rest of the series, and they looked really, really strong. Scaro and Ricey both putting up crazy numbers. I want to say Ricey on Route 66, he had EMP, sometimes even 2 EMPs every fight. This guy was putting up crazy numbers on the Sombra, on the Mei, whatever he needed to play. This guy was putting up crazy numbers. And when Tempest came out of half, yikes. And Kreia, they led some crazy comebacks, especially on Blizzard World. It was do or die situation. Last minute or two on third point, Kreia just comes out of nowhere with a 4K and saves the point and just stalls all the momentum that Frost Nova had. And they carried that momentum over to Temple of Anubis. They got like a 3-minute something time bank cap on Temple, and they were able to hold Frost Nova to just that first point. But it was Frost Nova who got the last laugh. Ricey on the May, putting up a huge performance. Got 16 Blizzard kills, 39 elims on Nepal, and off the back of that, Frost Nova was able to take the W. Juggle, Xenon, do you guys have any notes that you guys want to bring up about this match?
You really can't understate the back and forth like within this match between Ricey and Kreia, where it would be Ricey popping, getting a 6-man EMP on one side, and then Kreia just comes out of nowhere on this really weird pick and getting a 4K. It was back and forth from the third map on. Really entertaining to watch.
Absolutely. Juggle God, do you have any?
Yeah, you know, I was able to watch the last half of this one. Wasn't able to catch the first part of it, but I was really impressed with both teams. And one thing that I just noticed is you see in the match stats down there, Dr. Brennan had some great stats on Temple of News, but I felt like they were getting picked out a little bit early by some of the members of Frost Nova. So I'd like to see, Tempest Typhoon, and Dr. Brennan work a little bit on just survivability. It wasn't much. And then in addition, I feel like Yikes, could have played a little bit less aggressively. I love the aggression coming out from Yikes, but at times it just felt to me like it was a little too much, and so there was a little bit of feeding going on. And I think just, tidying up those two things, and Tempest Typhoon could really, they're a great team. Like, they really are. And I think just with those couple of changes, they could easily take Frost Nova in a rematch.
Absolutely. It was a really, really back and forth game. Every time we come out of a break, it would just seem like a coin flip of like which team had the upper hand.
Yeah.
And it showed the entire night. Tempest Typhoon, next week, they will be going against Juggle God and the rest of Lux Nova, while Frost Nova will be going against Danger Close. So we will be moving on now into the standings. So after week 2, here's where the teams have settled. Kaiju Core Clover still takes on the number 1 spot with a +5 map differential, followed by a 4-way tie broken down across Tempest Typhoon, Paradise Aegis, Danger Close, and Frost Nova. The only difference is that maps 4 and map differential play a part in seeding them 2 through 5. And then rounding out the pack, we've got Lux Nova down at the bottom.
I just want to say that I love looking at these standings and all of the icons for the teams, because they just remind me of like CD albums from the 90s. I'm looking at like all of them do. Every single one of them looks like they could be a CD. Paradise Lost looks like it could be a CD from the 80s. But the rest
Maybe it's
them...
a cassette tape. Might be a cassette.
A cassette from the a cassette from the 80s. But all the rest of them really look like album covers, and I like that.
Yeah, Xenon, do you have anything you want to bring up about the standings?
Just like last week, it'll be interesting to see how these shift going into next week, especially that the tie for second place. I want to see how that resolves itself, if it will. Should be very interesting to watch. Frost Nova, also my favorite Snow Patrol album by far.
Absolutely. And going now into the map pool, there's what the teams will be playing going in week 3. We have Ilios, Havana, Kings Row, Hanamura, and Busan as our map 5. And if we need to go to extra innings, we do have Rialto and Oasis in the queue. A lot of fan favorite maps in here, especially Kings Row. Ilios, you'd like to see Widowmakers pop off on that map. Some might say that the Widowmaker main that generated the map pools might have had a small say in throwing all the Widowmaker maps in, but I can assure you I did not do that. Juggle God, Xenon, do you have any thoughts, opinions, controversies about this map pool?
I think that this set of maps is really going to be heavily biased towards brawl compositions. Ilios, you can play it on Lighthouse, and Havana, and you can play it on Havana, and of course on Kings Row. So I anticipate this is going to be our heaviest brawl map pool that at least we've seen so far, and that potentially we are likely to see as well, because we've also got Hanamura in there too. And at least one of the points on Busan, if it goes out to a map 5. But I think just having that Havana, Kings Row, Hanamura trio right there is really going to make this one of the most brawl-centric weeks that we're going to experience. Of course, we're going to go to Ilios Ruins at some point, and that's going to heavily favor Widowmaker and dive compositions, I think. But other than that, I just think we're going to see a whole lot of rush.
I think that there's still openings for double sniper, especially in Havana, and
yeah, that's true.
potentially a Widow on King's Row, and if they're really spicy, double shield or dive on King's Row. But that's for the teams to decide.
So, Juggle, I have a little bit of a brain-picking question. So, you're
Yes.
known for playing Wrecking Ball. Are you telling me you guys aren't going to run Wrecking Ball on Kings Row?
Likely, I don't want to give too much away, but we're likely gonna play ball there, or brawl. Excuse me, not ball. Brawl there, but you never know. It can come out. I mean, I will always, and I will make this point to my coach as well, that we have seen ball played on Kings Row in in Overwatch League recently. So I think it's a reasonable thing to do, but I've got to convince the rest of my team and my coach that is the call to make. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on how convincing I am to the rest of my team and my coach.
Adding more fuel to that fire.
Yeah,
Contenders was running ball on Kings Row 2 just a couple hours ago. Shout out T2.
I know. So, and I can play ball on every single map. So, it's if we need to, Sombra Row. Yeah, thanks, Saffron. Also, what's up, Shea Fresh? Good to see you in chat as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can play ball on every single map. So, if we're getting hard comp diffed, then we may try to swap and counter with ball.
That'll be something to see, especially
Statron likes playing the ball comps too. So
I am a ball comp
I know
enjoyer.
he's pulling for it.
All right, now hopping into our matchups, we do have Kaiju Core Clover going up against Paradise Aegis. I believe that game just got rescheduled to Sunday.
Yes, I think it did. Yeah.
We have Frost Nova, Danger Close, and Tempest Typhoon versus Lux Nova. Those games are still yet to be scheduled, but they will be coming quick and fast on the weekend. So let's get into our predictions for this week's matches. We are replacing the marbles segment because we did not have a funny topic for the marbles race, so we will be taking a look at these matches a little bit more closely, starting off with Kaiju Core Clover versus Paradise Aegis, and we all predicted that Kaiju Core Clover will take the win. Xenon going with the 3-0, and me and Juggle God believing Paradise can squeak out a map. Xenon.
Yeah, I think that Clover just has an extremely dominant play style that I'm not quite convinced if Paradise could keep up with.
Yeah, that's the same to me. Kaiju Core Clover, like I said, I saw them play in their charity tournament over the weekend, and they just look really good. I think the whole Kaiju Corp, the whole Kaiju Corp corporation has a lot of good teams and a lot of good coaches. So I think that we're just going to see them continue to dominate. Paradise Aegis, though, I think is going to put up a very good fight. I think they're going to squeak out a map win, and I think they're going to make it close on one or two of the other maps.
Yeah, for sure. Paradise, they do have really strong coaching and backbone, and Sussing, Caffeinated, DeRed. These guys, their other team just recently won Owlet Season 4, and they were the team to beat. They were really dominant in that, some would say. So it'll be an interesting battle going down from coaches to players, philosophies, and that'll be taking place now on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, I believe. Our next matchup that we'll be talking a little bit more about is Frost Nova versus Danger Close. Xenon is Team Danger Close, and he believes they will take the 3-1 win, while me and Juggle God believe in Frost Nova. I think that it'll be a 3-2. Another Game 5 series with Juggle believing that it'll be a 3-1.
So Danger Close, I don't think you guys are giving enough credit. In their Clover game, they regularly finish standard time with more time than Clover did. It was just those overtime areas that they had to struggle with. But I think Danger Close might be able to just completely shut down Frost Nova, who maybe rely a little bit more on that clutch factor very at the end. If they can find an answer to Kreia, I think that they'll have this one in the bag.
Kreia is on Tempest Typhoon. You mean
Oh, I
Ricey
am
and
sorry.
Scarrow.
Ricey.
Ricey and Scarrow, the DPS duo on Frost Nova. I think that, if they get their Somber Reaper comp going, they do play the Bulldozer comp, the Ryan, Monkey, Doomfist, McCree Reaper, whatever you want to chuck in the second DPS slot, and a Lucio. It did show Tempest, who was primarily a Brawl team through all of that they kind of have to think about how they take their brawls, and it'll be interesting to see how Danger Close adapts to that. But if Frost Nova is able to just get going, I think Ricey with the ZMPs and Scarrow playing something to complement Ricey, I think that they'll just have a good back and forth series. Juggle God, do you have anything you want to add to this one?
I think Frost Nova has just looked a little too dominant for me to be able to give it to Danger Close. Danger Close, I think, is a good team, but I don't think that they're quite in the same tier as Kaiju Core and Frost Nova. Those two, I anticipate to actually be gunning for the first place in this tournament. So I think Danger Close is very good. I think they're gonna take a map win. I think it's gonna be relatively close, but I think Frost Nova is going to come out with a win. I think the 3-1 scoreline I'm predicting is going to be a close 3-1. I think it's going to feel closer to a 3-2, but it's going to come out a 3-1 with Frost Nova on top. And in addition, I think that I lost my place, actually. I lost my train of thought. So never mind. That's what I think about Frost Nova and Danger Close. I think Frost Nova is going to come out with this.
Right.
Oh, I remember what it was I was going to say. And I just think in general, the teams in this tournament are very close together. We see the 4-way tie right now for second place, which, you expect after only 2 games, really, or it's very likely that something like this could happen. But I think that as we see the tournament play out, we're gonna see a lot of close games. I think we're gonna see a lot of 3-2s. And I wouldn't be surprised if this goes 3-2, but I'm still predicting a 3-1.
Absolutely. There is a lot of parity going on right now in the standings. 1 week you're at the bottom, and then you're at the top. Who knows?
Yep.
Moving on to our last matchup, we have Tempest versus Lux Nova. Juggle God,
I didn't feel comfortable making... Yeah, I didn't feel comfortable making a prediction just because it's my own game. So I'll talk about what I think, but I'm not going to make an official prediction here. So,
and we have me and Xenon both going with the 3-1 and 3-2 respectively. I do think that you guys will be able to pick up a map. I think Ryu Kasim on his DPS picks, the Widow, the Ashe, the McCree, I think he will go against Jab Gamer on the side of Tempest and just clutch some out. It kind of just comes down to everyone else really on the roster kind of, picking it up. And I wouldn't say figuring out some clutch factor, but just, carrying your own weight and looking for that little bit that can put you guys ahead. I do think some of the maps do favor you guys with like Ilios and Havana. It'll just come down to see how this brawl versus brawl, which we did touch in the map pool section, how you guys will fare versus their brawl, which they like the sim brawl. We've seen them play Reaper, McCree brawl as well. And, you have that crazy XYZ factor in Kreia's random stall picks that you have to look out for as well. Xenon, do you have anything you want to add?
I think that the series, you might be able to pick up a map, but I think that Tempest did show very strongly yesterday. Um, I think as soon as they find their rhythm, it's going to be very difficult for Lux Nova to find their footing. If you do, I mean, great on you, but I think just the X factor of Tempest DPS, it just I feel like they can kind of run away with things a little bit.
Yeah, thank you both for giving us a map win. We're really gunning for that too so far in the tournament. Um, I didn't want to make a prediction, but we're gonna give it our best shot. Most of the reason I didn't want to make a prediction is because of course I'm gonna predict my own team to win. Um,
Not biased
and
at all.
yeah, exactly. But I would like to say a little bit about the matchup if that's okay with you guys.
That's completely fine.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that they're gonna probably outmatch us a little bit on the brawl composition, but I think the other compositions we have are where we're gonna really start to shine. And in addition, our team is in the exponential improvement phase. I like to think of it where we just came together, we're just starting to get our feet on ourselves, and the difference between our gameplay between week 1 and week 2, I think was pretty large, and I think we're gonna impress people again with week 3. I think we're gonna come out even stronger. So, are we gonna get a win? I'd love to think so. I'm gunning for it. We're gonna play our hearts out, and we're excited about going up against Tempest Typhoon. And yeah, we've got some plans for what we know that they're gonna throw out. So, or at least what we think they're gonna throw out.
Absolutely. Well, that will do it for our prediction segment here on the Checkpoint Podcast Show. I've been Oakley, joined in the booth by Jungle God and Xenon, and we will catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.